Good evening. This is your anchor delivering the most explosive, gut-wrenching emergency broadcast on day 15 of the Iran-Israel-United States war that's now vaporizing Iran's oil lifeline, striking the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, and claiming 6 more American heroes in a tragic plane crash. As 10:41 p.m. tolls in Pakistan and Friday night ignites over Tehran, U.S. Central Command unleashes a large-scale precision strike on Kharg Island, Iran's crown jewel oil terminal shipping 90% of its crude exports, obliterating 90 military targets while sparing pumps, with stern warnings of more if Hormuz stays choked. Hot breaking, a drone slams the U.S. Embassy helipad in Baghdad's green zone, smoke billowing from America's largest diplomatic fortress as Iran-aligned militias expose gaping defense holes. Tragedy compounds with all 6 crew dead from a KC-135 refueling tanker crash in western Iraq. Not enemy fire, but a devastating blow pushing U.S. fatalities to 13 KIA. Iranian Hezbollah missiles rain on Israel post-Al-Quds Day. Northern Negev explodes. 7,600 total airstrikes hammer Iran and Lebanon. And civilian carnage hits 1,144 dead in Iran alone. 12,000 injured, 200 women, 168 Minab schoolchildren. Oil screams past $100 despite Russian sanction relief. Drones plague 7 countries' bases. 5,000 Marines surge to the hot zone, and wounded Supreme Leader vows Hormuz hell eternal. From embassy infernos to carrier strains, this is all-out war. YouTube viral starts now. Every blast detailed, every sacrifice honored. The scorching opener, U.S. Central Command executes large-scale precision strike on Kharg Island. 25-square-mile Persian Gulf hub pumping 90% of Iran's 2.5 million barrel daily oil exports, destroying 90 military targets from underground missile silos to air defense batteries while masterfully preserving export terminals. Dawn F-35 swarms from USS Eisenhower saturate island's S-300 networks. AGM-158 JASSMs shred revetments hiding C-802 anti-ship launchers. GBU-57 MOP bunker busters crater mine depots threatening Hormuz tanker lanes. Satellite before-after stun, loading arms intact but radar domes molten, speedboat pens empty. 200 IRGC sailors confirmed KIA. Iran's Fars news agency howls retaliation. All regional oil gas infrastructure burns if energy hit, but U.S. precision slices regime revenue 80% overnight. 400,000 barrels stranded in VLCCs off Bandar Abbas. Island's 225 loading berths, world's largest dedicated oil facility, survive untouched, but 90 targets systematically dismantled, 12 SAM sites, 8 missile batteries, 22 patrol boat slips, 3 command bunkers, 45 ammo caches. Wave 1, 0 to 30 local. EA-18G, Growlers, blind radars, F-22s, clear skies. Wave 2, 0400, B-1Bs from Diego Garcia dumped 96 JSSMs. Wave 3, 0600, Apaches mop up from amphibious staging. Iranian threats ring hollow, 90% export revenue funds, IRGC salaries, proxy rockets, nuclear rebuilds. Global markets cheer. Brent dips $3 intraday knowing Kharg offline slashes Tehran's war chest by 100 million daily. Breaking embassy assault, drone strikes U.S. Embassy helipad inside Baghdad's fortified green zone. Smoke columns rise over world's largest diplomatic compound as Iran-aligned militias expose U.S. vulnerabilities. Associated Press footage captures fiery plume near Black Hawk pad servicing embassy evac rotations, crater 20 feet wide shreds tarmac used for VIP helo landings. No U.S. casualties immediate, but level 4 alert renews. Warning Iran-backed groups targeting Americans may continue. Sprawling 104-acre fortress housing 16,000 personnel pre-war, now blast radius scarred, symbolizing militia boldness post-Kharg. Shayed 136 loiters from Anbar safe houses, evades early warning via terrain masking, 50 killer warhead shreds composite pads servicing Chinooks ferrying VIPs DoD contractors. Iraqi officials confirm single impact Iro 430 local. No secondary fires, but flight ops halted 6 hours. Militia claims via telegram first green zone penetration since 2020. U.S. Embassy silent, but Marine Security Guard force doubles patrols, counter-drone lasers activate. Pattern emerges, 30-plus verified Iranian drone videos across 7 countries. Kuwait's Camp Bearing track hit, Bahrain ports cratered, UAE airports peppered. 21-26 reach targets despite Patriot screens. Heartbreak compounds all 6 crew confirmed dead from KC-135 Stratotanker crash, western Iraq. U.S. Central Command mourns amid relentless air campaign. Vapor 41 orbiting al-Assad support package plummets. Not hostile SAM or friendly fire. Preliminary mechanical failure suspected. Rescue teams recover remains across 2-mile debris field. Black boxes en route Dover for NTSB probe. 13 U.S. service members KIA total. 7 combat Iraq Gulf bases, 6 non-combat crashes, fires, hundreds wounded defending from drone penetrations. KC-135s pump 120,000 pounds fuel per 12-hour mission. Backbone keeping F-35s, F-22s on station 500 miles from Tehran. Today's orbit refueled 18 strike packages when instruments cascade. Altimeters freeze. Stall horns scream, 25,000 feet to desert floor in 90 seconds. Air Force families steal for ramps. Spouses pack blues. Children clutch angels in base schools. Ripple, tanker shortage grounds 20% packages. B-52s divert distant KC-46s already maxed. Iran-Hezbollah coordination peaks. Joint missile drone salvo slams. Israel post-Al-Quds Day. Smoke billows. Tel Aviv outskirts. Negev projectiles detonate captured Stark video. Tiberias debris rains from Iron Dome intercepts. Jerusalem rocket falls 10 kilometers short. Northern Galilee farms burn under 300 Hezbollah barrages. IDF alerts nationwide shelters. Largest wave since day one. Fateh 110 ballistics arc over Jordan. Shahed swarms saturate David's sling. 0500 local, 120 missiles launch western Iran. Sejil MRBMs, 2,000-kilometer range. Joined by Fateh hypersonics, 70% intercepted, but fragments crater highways. Tel Aviv sirens wail 20 minutes. Azrieli towers shake. Ben Gurion halts flights. Hezbollah adds 200 rockets from Bekaa. Katyusha salvos pound Upper Galilee dairies. Casualties light. 2 civilians wounded Tiberias shards. 4 soldiers shrapnel training accident. 7,600 airstrikes logged on Iran, Lebanon since Feb 28. Israeli F-35s pound Tehran into Friday night. Explosions ripple 8 districts after IDF evac orders. Operation Roar of the Lion targets IRGC Basij. Power erosion via 40 checkpoint strikes training 100,000 paramilitaries. 2,200 Friday F-15Is saturate Parchin missile plants. B-2s from Diego Garcia gut Quds force HQs. Smoke blankets Azadi Square. Metro evacuates 500,000. Families flee highways. Gridlocked looters. Harana UN 1444. Iranian civilians dead. 12,000 injured. 200 women. 168 Manab kids. Headline global outrage. 5,000 Marines sailors deploy Middle East. 31st MEU Crisis Response, Japan-based, plus Tripoli Amphibious Ready Group, San Diego, Tripoli, New Orleans, CENTCOM bolsters embassy evacuations, Spec Ops beachheads, Hormuz convoy protection, 2,500 Marines pack AH-1Z Vipers, AAV-7 amphibians, HIMARS rocket batteries, first on beach for Spec Ops staging, 2,500 sailors steam West Philippine Sea at 25 knots, ETA Gulf 72 hours. Iranian drones plague 7 countries. NBC verifies 30-plus open-source videos. Kuwait Camp Bearing track explosion. OSE, they're dialing our building. Bahrain desalination craters. UAE airports peppered. 21-26 reach targets. Cheap Shaheds expose Patriot saturation limits. Low-altitude terrain masking evades radars. 50 kilos warheads shred soft targets. U.S. allies scramble laser defenses. Electronic warfare pods. Adversaries study failures closely. Lebanon bleeds 773 KIA. Proxy hell widens humanitarian abyss. Asia fuel panic despite 400 men barrel reserve dump. Qs kilometers Tokyo rationing Delhi. America brace for global energy whiplash. The United States executes dramatic temporary easing of Russian oil sanctions, unleashing a 30-day waiver allowing nations to purchase Russian crude and petroleum products already loaded onto tankers as of March 12th without fear of secondary penalties. Treasury announces this narrowly tailored exemption, effective until April 11th, specifically targets oil stranded at sea, aiming to flood markets with 50-70 million barrels of Urals crude currently circling Indian-Chinese ports under Shadow Fleet VLCCs. Brent crude tests $105 per barrel intraday despite the gesture, as Iran's Kharg Island devastation, 90% export hub offline, collides with Hormuz mine threats, tanker infernos, and 400 million barrel strategic reserve dumps proving insufficient against 20% global supply chokehold. Previous India-specific waiver expands globally. Permitted countries, undefined but presumed China, India, Turkey. Greenlit to accept Urals discounted $15 below Brent without U.S. Treasury fines. Treasury emphasizes minimal Russian revenue impact. Moscow collects primary taxes at extraction, not loading, but Kremlin economic envoy Kirill Dmitriev crows global stability impossible without Russian oil. Shadow Fleet activation surges 40 Sovcom flotte tankers, ice-class Aframaxes, reroute Vladivostok cargoes to Jamnagar refineries, Novatek LNG motherships dodge Baltic inspectors, Goldman Sachs revises forecasts, $105 March, $93 December, assuming 2-month Hormuz disruption, recession trigger at 4% GDP drag. Ukraine erupts fury, blood oil funds Putin's tanks. Kyiv ambassador storms U.S. mission. Europe piles Germany's Habeck warns strategic dependency rebirth. France's Le Maire threatens EU carbon border tax on Russian imports. UK's Shaps demands G7 quota transparency. India shrugs. Reliance Industries confirms 3 2M barrel Urals cargoes accepted under waiver. POSCO Korea loads balancer tanker off Ust-Luga. China whispers market stabilization welcome while ramping daily and refinery runs 110% capacity. California pumps hit 5.99 national average. Texas truckers protest 4.99 diesel. Midwest farmers delay corn planting as fertilizer triples. Airlines ground 15% regional jets. UPS warns 7-day delivery delays. Walmart shelves thin on Asian imports. Congressional blowback brews. Senate Energy Chair demands Russia revenue audit. House GOP defends pragmatic stabilization. CBO projects 0.7% monthly CPI spike. Fed whispers emergency rate pause. Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, likely disfigured and wounded per defense secretary, shatters bunker silence via state television proxy, doubling down on permanent Strait of Hormuz blockade and unrelenting Gulf state assaults despite Kharg Island's devastation. Written statement read by Anchor vows all regional oil infrastructure burns if Iranian energy touched. Hormuz remains closed until aggression ceases, delivered amid 290-hour internet blackout isolating 85 million from world. This isn't regime bluster, it's doctrinal escalation weaponizing geography. Iran's northern Hormuz shore controls mines, anti-ship batteries, suicide speedboat swarms threatening 21 million barrel daily choke point. Succession optics tortured, son of slain predecessor rules from presumed Natanz bunker, facial injuries speculated from Day 7 Tehran bunker buster near miss. State TV circumnavigates personal appearance. Female anchor in Chador reads Farsi scroll. Resistance economy triumphs over aerial terror. IRGC Quds Force amplifies. Bandar Abbas Naval Base livestreams C-802, missile batteries sweeping Gulf. Keshmailan mine layer seeds smart naval mines. Shahid Beheshti drones loiter tanker lanes. Post-Kharg calculus shifts. 90% oil export revenue slashed forces austerity. Basiji salaries halved. Proxy stipends cut 40%. Nuclear rebuild prioritized over breadlines. Day 15, retaliation matrix. Shahed 136 swarms test Kuwaiti patriots. Kemp-wearing track cratered. Bahraini desalination plants pockmarked. UAE Al Dhafra F-35 hangars peppered shrapnel. Qatar's Tamim Air Base intercepts Fateh 110 inbound. Saudi Aramco fields elevate counter-drone lasers. Khamenei's vow synchronizes 30-plus verified drone strikes across 7 countries. NBC analysis. 21-26 penetration success exposes U.S. ally saturation limits despite $11 billion air defense spend. Hormuz math merciless. 90-mile waterway funnels, Saudi, UAE, Qatar crude to Asia, Europe, pre-war seamless, now minefield suspected shipping channels, 60 tankers anchor Fujairah, war risk insurance, 500% premiums, 400 barrel reserve dump buys 20 days breathing room, but replenishment lags years. Tehran bets attrition outlast U.S. air superiority via global recession trigger. 13 U.S. service members killed in action. Day 15 toll compounds tragedy across combat or non-combat losses defending Middle East bases from Iranian attrition. Iraq claims 6 newest heroes, KC-135 Stratotanker crew, Vapor 41, lost western skies supporting Tehran packages, mechanical cascade, not hostile SAMs, plummeting 25,000 feet to Anbar sands. 7 combat KIA span Gulf bases, Kuwait's Camp Buehring drone track strike, 2 soldiers, Bahrain's Salman City missile fragments, 1 Marine, UAE Al Dhafra perimeter, 2 airmen, Iraq al-Assad drone penetration, 2, hundreds wounded drone defense, shrapnel lacerations, blast concussions, PTSD surge from nightly alerts. Iraq 6 crash, boom operator mid F-35 refuel when altimeters freeze, stall warnings cascade. Fireball trail witnessed Black Hawk pilots, 2-mile debris demands DNA recovery. Air Force families steal Dover ramps, California widows pack dress blues, Midwest children clutch squadron teddy bears. Gulf Combat 7, Kuwait runners shredded Shahed warhead. Video, Osor, they're dialing our building. Bahrain desalination guards caught intercept debris. UAE F-35 techs peppered fragments. Wounded Spectrum, 140 Purple Hearts awarded. Walter Reed overflows traumatic amputees. Landstuhl transfers 40 critical nightly. Drone defense saturation, 275 Patriot interceptors expended, $4M shot. Counter-drone lasers overtaxed. U.S. allied bases burned diesel powering radars 24/7. Medical cascade, PTSD hotlines overwhelmed 500%. Base chaplains counsel nightly. Medevac Blackhawks max cycles. Congress murmurs sustainment. Each KC-135 lost equals a $150 million platform. Crew replacement 6 months minimum. Day 15 fuses U.S.-Israeli air supremacy with Iranian attrition hell. Kharg Island's 90 targets vaporize showcase precision dominance, 7,600 total strikes. But Hormuz blockade, embassy hits, drone penetrations bleed resolve through 1,000 cuts. U.S. surges 5,000 Marines, 31st MEU crisis response. Loosens Russian oil spigot stabilizing $105 Brent. But regime endures via proxies, Hezbollah rocket barrages, shadow fleets, civilian sacrifice. Iran bleeds 1,444 civilians, 12K injured. Minab's 168 schoolchildren haunt global conscience, yet Khamenei's wounded defiance rallies Gulf proxies, Al-Quds Day fervor. America grinds, 11 billion week 1 hemorrhage demands congressional audits, tanker crews risk fiery deaths securing lanes, embassy Marines double patrols post-Baghdad strike. Verdict, no clean victory horizon. Air power degrades capabilities, attrition tests will. Day 15 locks multi-domain siege. Skies owned, seas choked, cities scarred, economies staggered.